So recent advancements in AI have made virtual staging really quite incredible compared to what it used to be just not too long ago. So now you can take empty houses and turn it into something that looks like this, and you don't even need software to do it. So there's online software that you can use where you just upload your image, rearrange this stuff, but you can also then download some of those assets to be able to really make an impactful image just using Photoshop. So that's what I want to show in this tutorial. Now, as you might know from other videos that I've done here on my YouTube channel, I like to use applydesign.io, and you can upload an image for free, play around with it and see how well this works. And if you do want to buy any of the credits that you can do your own virtual staging, it's only about $7 an image. Compared to what you can charge for that, it saves my clients a lot of money. Instead of spending thousands of dollars to stage a house, they can just pay me hundreds of dollars, and in no time, I can make the house look like it's staged. And with the AI that's been improving, it looks really natural. But the secret to this isn't just relying on the software itself, but your creativity after you do some virtual staging, what you can do to really make it an impactful, virtually staged photo. And that's what I'm going to show here, so let's dive into it. So here we have a finished image in Lightroom. This is a finished Flambient image. If you're not familiar with that, that's where we take an ambient shot, use its luminance on top of some other flash shots that were composited together, and then we're able to put that together into one single image that looks like this. So nice, clean, crisp looking image using Flambient, and then I've got this finished image that I delivered to the client. This was then virtually staged, but with some added stuff that I did. So this is the one that we're going to be working on in this episode. So let's move back over here and say that we exported this. Now I'd export this as a JPEG, and then I would upload that to Apply Design. So let's go over there. So for this particular location, there were two rooms that they wanted me to virtually stage. One was a bedroom, and then of course this living room. So let's go over into editing that after it was uploaded. So if you've never seen this done before, the initial view doesn't look like it's gonna be when it's finished, because this is just running in a browser to give you an idea. But what you would do is over here, you'd select your various furniture, you can select different sofas, whatever you'd want. You just take it and you can drag that in there and then drag it around, rotate it, whatever you need to put it in place. Anyways, we'll just delete that out of there and remove it. Make a mistake on that, you can always restore design from some other render that you worked on. So anyways, we've got everything that's been loaded in here. That's great. Even put a clock on the wall, some art, put a rug underneath of the coffee table and underneath of the couch. So a lot of work was done here on the virtual staging, but it doesn't really take that long moving this stuff around. So everything in here is in place and it's ready to go. If I needed to, I could rearrange, move this stuff all over the place. But anyways, when you're done putting all this stuff in place, you would just hit render. Then you have to wait about 15-20 minutes or so for it to finish rendering, but that gives you time to move on then to the next piece that you want to work on. Once it's done, then you can go download it. Let's take a look at that real quick. So this is typically where you would find where you download the image. You might be able to also go to progress if it had just finished, but here you would just go to view, and then here's your finished image, and you can just download it, but that's going to download just a JPEG. Instead, what you want to do is go to advanced settings. When you're over in advanced settings, when you do a download, you can say remove background image. You can see what happened here. It got rid of everything else, but it's going to be just the furniture that I was staging. Then you would click download. And once it's downloaded, it's a PNG file. So it's a transparent PNG that we can then drag on top of a TIFF or a Photoshop file from what we had just created. So let's go back over to Lightroom and let's load this image into Lightroom, and it's going to be a TIFF because that's how it's editing back and forth. So we're going to have a lossless TIFF file, and then we can just go into here, right click on it, do the typical edit in, and then open in Photoshop. And what we want to do is we want to edit a copy with all the Lightroom adjustments. Now that it's loaded into Photoshop, we can drag in that PNG file. And I'll just do it from Bridge. This is the file here, and I'll just drag it right over here into Photoshop, and there it is. It lays it right on top of our TIFF file. So now we've got a high quality PNG over top of our TIFF, and this allows us to do just about anything we want. Let's say that this added too much shadow here on the TV, and we wanted to remove some of that. Well, what we would do is add a layer mask. You go to Layer, Layer Mask, and then Reveal All. Then you could, for instance, zoom in over here and decide to delete some of that. So I could make a boundary around this. Let's say that I did like a polygon just around this shadow. Then I could take the eraser tool at maybe about a 10% flow and just lighten up that shadow, just erase a little bit of that out of there. Like that. Okay, let's zoom back out here. And what did that look like without the mask on there? Well, it looked like that. So it was a little bit darker compared to then after I deleted some of that. So that's one thing you might want to do. Another thing here too that you can do is you might want to brighten up this furniture. Let's zoom out here a little bit so we can get a good view. This looks just dull sitting here. So what I would do in a case like this is I would add a brightness layer with a clipping mask. This is how it's done. You'd go up to the layer menu and you would select a new adjustment layer and a new brightness contrast layer. And we'll call this one brighten because this will be used to brighten areas because we're going to darken other areas. So we'll just say OK. Now what we want to do is brighten it overall, but we want to set it to only that layer that has our furniture, which is right below it. So you click this little doodad down here, which makes it a clipping mask. It's only going to apply to that layer. Now we can up the brightness. Now it's brightening everything that we virtually staged. So let's just take it right there and then invert this layer mask. You can click the layer mask and do Control I. Then you can take a brush, and let's use a brush. Right now it's about 100% flow. Let's use a flow of, let's say, about 30%. And then with this brush, I'll just tap in this area here, just to brighten that couch a little bit. Let's see how that looks. If I turn that off, it was kind of dull. Turned it on, it made it brighter. I can lighten that up more too by now just adjusting that layer. If I did too much, I can go back here to the mask, use an eraser tool, and for instance, there was too much maybe on the carpet, so I just erase it right there. Now you can see that these bar stools over here didn't come out very natural looking. And there's a couple issues there. One, it's a little bit too bright and there just isn't enough shadow. So we're going to do two things to fix that. Let's zoom back out and let's make another brightness contrast layer, but this time to darken that. So we'll go back up here to Layer, Adjustment Layer, Brightness Contrast, and we'll call this one Darken. Then we'll lower the brightness on this layer, invert that layer mask once again with Control I. We'll also add a clipping mask to it, which is this little doodad here. So now it's only affecting that layer. Now we can decide how much we want to darken it. So we'll take a brush and now just brush around those areas. I'm just tapping in a little bit, kind of, you can see it's darkening that wood. So these are looking a little bit darker. But the shadows still aren't looking all that great. I mean, we're better than where we were. If we were to shut this off and turn it back on, we can see it's not so glary. But let's add some shadows. To do that, go all the way down to the bottom, underneath of your furniture layer, and we want to create a fill layer. So what you do is you go up to Layer, and you want a new fill layer, Solid Color, and let's call this Shadow. What we want is a layer filled with the color black, which is 0. So you type in 0, say OK, and then invert that layer mask doing Control I. Now I can go down underneath of these bar stools and I can decide, how much shadow do I want to add? If I took a brush and used just about a 10% flow, you can see 10% flow up here selected, and I just brushed a little bit in here, you can see that's going to add a little bit of shadow. Let me turn that off and on so you can see what happened. So I added a little bit more shadow in there, deciding where I want that. So let's do that on these legs here, right there like that. Good. Okay, now let's zoom out a little bit and see how that looks. If I turn this, here it's on, there it's off. There it's on, there it's off. If I like that, then I could also take this brush and here on that layer mask, I can decide to brush a little bit more where these legs are. So I might just run the brush at a 10% flow just right on this side of the leg. And that's a little bit much. So let's take that flow down to about just, maybe just 3 or so. We'll do 2. And right there then, we'll just do a real quick like that across each one of those legs. There we go. That added a little bit of shadow. So this was before doing that, and then this was after. Let's zoom all the way out, see how this looks. So this is how we've added our shadows now, and this is what it was before. So we can adjust more shadows if we want to. We can adjust more brightness if we need to. We can darken things if we need to. We can add other types of adjustment layers to change color and saturation, things like that, as much as we need to. In fact, it's not just the furniture layer, but at this point, if things also don't match up with the rest of the house, and we realize, hey, there's stuff we still want to do here, we go underneath of everything. Right above this layer that was our furniture layer, our house layer underneath of the furniture layer, and we can do other things. So for instance here, if I felt that this wasn't warm enough, it was just a little bit too cold compared to the furniture, I might do something like adding an adjustment layer for the color. So here I might go up to Layer, Adjustment Layer, and I might do something along the lines of a color balance layer. And in here, instead of having in the midtones these cool cyan colors, I would maybe just add a little bit of red to that. So that might warm it up. Same thing down here with the blues, turning that just a little bit warmer on the warm side. And you can see then, if we turn this on and off, here we go, that's with it, and that was a little bit cold. There it is with it. So this is without it. This is with it. So just a little bit of warmth was added there. But once again, you can decide how much of this you want to do. Now, what I suggest doing is to save this as a Photoshop file. Instead of the typical flattening and saving it, save it as a Photoshop file so you can go back to it later. If you want to see this though, show up in Lightroom. A small bug in Photoshop is then once you go to File, Save As, and you decide to save this as a Photoshop file, you have to make sure that it's going into the same directory, which it wouldn't. This was a different client. So I'd have to navigate to that directory where it was and then make sure that it was saved there. Once then I save that in the appropriate directory, it's loaded back into Lightroom. And from here then, I can export it with the same settings that I normally would. And then you can do this to as many photos as you need to virtually stage an entire house, not just rely on the JPEGs that then come out of the virtual staging engine. In this case, it was Apply Design, but you have control on the colors and the amount of shadows, the brightness, and everything else that you want to add. You could also, if you needed to, remove items, add items, do other things you need to, because this is a Photoshop file with a separate furniture layer. And as the AI engines improve, they'll always have some faults. So you'll never ever get everything exactly perfect, because that also comes into artistic taste. But using these options, you're in control to decide how exactly you want to have these houses virtually staged.